Ryan D'Angelo took down the 2016 WSOP $1,500 no-limit Deuce-to-Seven Lowball event to win his first gold bracelet. In this edition of Poker Strategy on CardPlayerTV, we caught up with D'Angelo to hear about two key hands he played in the event and how they illustrate certain concepts about Deuce-to-Seven no-limit strategy.
Yeah, I want to illustrate a few points. One is value betting thin, and one is when to bluff. So first important hand that happened at the final table was versus me and my toughest opponent, John Monette. We had kind of a dynamic where he wasn't really messing around with me too much. He was in the big blind when I was in the small blind, so whenever it would fold to me, I would fold a lot and sometimes I'd raise. In this particular hand, this was late on day 2, and we both had big stacks, so we were kind of want to stay out of each other's way, but you have to play with people at some point. Folded around to me, and I looked at deuce, 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 7, king. Okay, so interesting hand. I don't really have a good hand to actually play for value because I only have 2 low cards, but I have a good hand to bluff with. So there's going to be a few combinations of hands that I just raise with, stay pat, and then make a big bet with, representing a good pat hand. So you obviously want to bet big when you have a good pat hand like a pat 8 or a pat 9 in this spot, blind versus blind, and you want to pick a few hands to bluff with. So it's good to pick hands with like lots of deuces in them, or 2 pair, 2 low pair. So I decided to raise. I raised to 3.5 blinds. He called, and I stayed pat. He drew 1, and then after the draw, I bet over the size of the pot, like 1.5 times the size of the pot, and I got him to fold. So it's an interesting play I'm not going to be making very often, but I had good blockers and a good time to represent a pat hand. The next hand is versus John at the final table. It folded around to me in the small blind. I can't remember my exact holdings, but I think I had 4 or 3 low cards and anyway, I'm not sure what my exact hand is, but it's not so important. I raised, he called, I drew 1, I believe, he drew 1, and I picked up a queen. So my hand was queen 9, 5, 4, 3. A lot of people would check in this spot hoping to just get the showdown and win the hand, but it's important to make a bet in this spot and show your opponent you're willing to bet without just the nuts. You're willing to bet with a medium-sized hand, and that makes you much tougher to play against, and they maybe won't call you as easily with a king or an ace high, where they would be happier to call with a king or ace high if you only bet when you had a 9 or 10 or a pair.
Thanks to D'Angelo for his insight into Deuce-to-Seven strategy, and thank you for watching this video right here on CardPlayerTV.